Great good morning, everyone. It is a frigid but beautiful Tuesday, December 9, year of our Lord 2025. My Bacardo Jeweler's watch tells me it's 9/11 and change. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America. And we're in the center of it. I could prove it because the president is coming here to pitch his economic agenda and successes first. This is also the place where the brave, like the veterans we salute today, thanks to our friend John Basiliga and his great senior care company, Serenity Care. Like veterans we've lost this year but celebrate today, thanks to John. Albert Vrabel, Newtown section of Hanover Township. Bob Kopp, 40 Fort. William Dembski, Mountaintop. Leonard Rick, McAdoo. John Demko, Hazelton. And Olin Necht, Orangeville, North Center Township. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible, amazing, irreplaceable founding fathers, that government is not, cannot be, shall not be our parent, our guide, our salvation, our direction. Not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. It wasn't something that could be parceled out to groups or controlled by government or government officials. Why? Because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and yes, freedom of the press. Yeah, do they use it to lie quite often? Well, we're smarter than that, and we've got the freedom to ignore them. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they had them, there's the distinct difference in this amazing country. A ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And yes, the double entendre is intended. You know that by now. And with that essential preamble dealt with, we can gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. Gaveling it with a gavel and soundboard, sound block, presented by the Slabjacker. And it says this: Sir Robert Cordaro, Esquire, Chairman, Club for Common Sense, WILK News Radio 9 to 12, Monday through Friday. ALTS, let's go, Brandon. We can update that now because we don't have to deal with that disgusting husk of a fool. Well, the president's coming today. I want to go back to what we open with, though, just quickly, but it's important. I'm not just reading words, and I don't want to just hear words. Freedom. It was decided we're gonna perfect. Our founding fathers said we're going to perfect and bring to its apex and culmination all of Western thought, all of what we learned about the human condition, who we are as people, and what is best for the most people possible. That was the United States of America. And the freedom in all those areas and more that I talk about every day. I hope it comes across. Because sometimes you read something and I'm reciting it each day and we forget. But freedom is not a natural state of affairs for mankind. Why is that? Because there's always those who are incredibly determined for their own comfort, benefit, or power to lord it over everyone else. What do I say comfort? We'll give an example. The perfect example is the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. Saying what you believe, saying what you mean, saying stuff that maybe you're even wrong, saying things that are offensive. That violates somebody's comfort zone. Now, when it comes to a left, and why do they always descend into when socialism, communism, all that, they're the same thing, by the way. Why do they always descend into oppression? Because when somebody could call you out for failing, and our founding fathers knew this, even before there was something called communism, even a century before Karl Marx, they understood that advancement of humankind, prosperity, happiness, all of those things required freedom of the individual to do what they want, to say what they want. And it's very uncomfortable for a lot of people, and I mean, even myself, when somebody exercises their Second Amendment right. I'm afraid of guns. I'm actually not afraid of the gun itself. I'm afraid of what comes out of the gun. But see, these freedoms are uncomfortable. They're messy. And there's a portion of the population, always, this is the human condition, it's immutable, that would prefer comfort to freedom. And so they're the go-alongs. Then there's the group of people who want power over others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. That's the Democrat Party of today. That's the left. That's the establishment. That's all the people who are spending the $1 trillion plus per year that flows through their invented nonprofits and NGOs from government coffers at all levels, consultants, lawyers, all that. So their comfort, benefit, or power is premier to them. And what happens is the people who just, look, I just want to do my thing. They can't let you do that because you'll expose their failures. They can't have that. You'll make them uncomfortable. They can't have that. This is today's Democrat Party. This is today's establishment. This is today's new world order. The global elite. That's what this is all about. It's about controlling others for comfort, benefit, or power, which is the exact opposite of what our founding fathers, in their incredible wisdom, understood we had to do. They said, if we give everybody freedom, and yeah, it'll be messy, and yeah, it'll be uncomfortable at times, But if we give them all these freedoms, let them do their own thing, out of many, one, e pluribus unum, will be the greatest country on earth. I don't think they even realized how great it could be. Our military power, our economic power, our standard of living. It's insane. Somebody said communism is an extreme form of socialism. Therefore, I wouldn't say they are the same thing. Yes, they are. Socialism is what you call it before you're in power. Then you don't care about the label. Please do not mistake this. Socialism is the soft label. Remember what it is for these people. Messaging is everything. Not good results, not the best for everybody, but fooling the most people possible. And socialism is a fake word representing a century of failure, death, misery. It's not, socialism is, that's what communism is. Commune, together. It's a separate label that they want to get away with. They're trying to fool you. Socialism is evil. Because they've got to take from someone by force to give to someone else. Do not mistake them. It's the same thing. Marxism. All that, they're identical. They're equally dangerous. One of the fools, are you talking about Trump trying to silence Kimmel? Wait a minute. Again, you don't even have a clue. This is astonishing. Trump says Kimmel is an idiot, which is true. Kimmel says something incredibly offensive about Charlie Kirk, and he lies outright. Disney, the wokest of the woke corporations, puts him on hiatus. But then they bend to the woke crowd and bring him back. So, what are you talking about? Dear Lord. How could someone be so misguided? That's frightening. Hey, today, we've got Rick Bigelow. Pearl Harbor needs to be discussed. That was the anniversary on the 7th, on Sunday. So we'll have Rick Bigelow at 10:05. And then we've got a discussion at 11:05. We've had Jay Young on before and probably have him on again and again. He's the founder and CEO of King Operating Corporation, which is an oil and gas company. And he's going to talk about what we project to be oil, gas, and energy prices next year. Important thing. I got to tell you, I don't understand this at all, by the way, guys. There's a troll, maybe not even a troll. You've got these talking points. Well, which one do you want this week? Well, he silenced Jimmy Kimmel. Well, that's a lie. He's Hitler. Well, that's a lie. He's incriminated by the Epstein file. Well, that's a lie. And then they just go on to the next lie. Oh, socialism, not communism. Let's go on to the next lie. Have anybody heard about the Epstein files? I was talking about this yesterday. Has anybody heard anything about him in the last 2 weeks? No. It's about war crimes. And they'll run out of gas on the war crimes. And this stupid Uncle Fester senator from Arizona, they'll run out of gas. And there'll be a new one. And a new one, and a new one. And they'll keep lying. So it's what they do. It's what they do to maintain power. Let's take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back. Our veterans this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by John Basiliga. And today we feature just one of his great companies, Serenity Care, a personal care community with 4 locations: Mid-Valley, Old Forge, Wyoming, Kingston. All 4 of these locations have been completely renovated inside and out, accepting new residents. They are the gold standard in senior care in Northeast Pennsylvania. Albert Vrabel. Al passed away November 23rd. He was from the Hanover Township, Newtown section. He was 95. Born in Ashley, graduate of Hanover High School, class of 1948. He was a U.S. Air Force veteran of the Korean War. Al was one of the first hires of the great Eberhard Faber Company. They made those amazing pencils in Mountaintop. He worked there from 1957 until its closure in 1988. He was last employed by Carter Footwear, Plains, until his retirement. Member of the former Holy Rosary Church, Hanover Township, and a member of the St. Leo the Great Parish, Ashley, where he was a proud member of the Holy Name Society. Al Vrabel was also a member of the Catholic War Veterans in Hanover Township. He loved bird watching at Lake Francis, gardening, search puzzles with his daughter and caregiver, Margaret. He was preceded in death by his loving wife of 45 years, the former Helen McGinnis Vrabel. Number of his sisters. Surviving her his loving daughter, Margaret Reddington. Sons, John and Albert, and their wives, grandchildren, nieces, nephews. Albert Vrabel. Robert Bob Kopp. He died November 22nd. He was 96. Born in Ridgewood, New York, he was passionate about everything, starting with a 20-year combined Army-Air Force career, which began in 1947. He served his country as a platoon sergeant at Fort Benning. He played with the Doughboys football team in the Air Force as a staff sergeant in 1951. He also worked at the Pentagon, then transferred and spent 14 months in Korea and Japan as a personnel supervisor. He returned to the U.S. as an advisor to the reserve units. Recipient of medals and awards for his long service. He retired as Master Sergeant in 1968. Following that, he worked as a vocational rehabilitation counselor. He served as Master of the Nanticoke Lodge, Deputy Grand Master of the Masonic District, member of the Iram Shrine, Iram Temple Jazz Band, as the lead singer in 1976 champion Iram Temple Golf Club, a faithful servant at 44th Presbyterian Church. He was preceded in death by his loving wife, Jane, of 75 years, survived by his son, Reverend Dr. Robert Kopp, his daughter, grandchildren, and other family members. Bob Kopp. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Serenity Care. Oh, I guess that means the weather. Couldn't we just say cold? Meteorologist Joe Seneca says today morning sun, then increasing clouds. He claims it's going to get up to 28. It's only 13 outside the studios right now. Tonight, partly cloudy, low temperatures steady or slowly rising. Wednesday, cloudy with on and off snow showers. Accumulations ranging from a trace to 3 inches in spots on Wednesday. High 37. Thursday, windy and colder with snow flurries. High 30. That song gets me every time. I can't cut it off. I apologize. I love that. Jimmy Dean, #1 easy listening charts hit in 1961. This date, Big Bad John. Oh, I love the song. I just love it. So thank you for indulging me for playing it out. Hey, just a shout out. I told you we were with the Baileys Saturday night, and a guy we talked about that I've met before, but Dan Donlick, he works down at Scranton Prep, and I just want to do a shout out to Dan. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Merry Christmas. But guys, reminder: Thursday, WILK, we're going to welcome authors Chris Finazzo and Matt Birkbeck. Chris's book, Reflections of a Town Driver, is about his prison experience, his experience with the federal prosecutors. But it goes deeper because he was one of those guys that they trusted. They said, okay, you could drive off campus, and he would take these prisoners home after they might do 20 and 25-year, 30-year stretches. And he weaves their story into his. And he's going to be here at WILK at noon. I'll interview him before that in the morning, and then noon he'll be here on Thursday. Then Matt Birkbeck. He's a writer's writer. He wrote The Quiet Don about Russell Buffalino, our local mafia guy. The Life We Chose about Billy D'Elia, his henchman. The Wicked, which is his new novel. We had him on about that, talking about, and he's been here in the area, and he's from the area. The Wicked is a murder mystery set in Jim Thorpe. He's got a new book coming out, The Bookie, so they'll be here to sign their books, sell their books, all that kind of stuff on Thursday, noon to 1, right here, Route 305, Route 305, Route 315, Pittston. And I'm looking forward to meeting you guys. And you could do it, reserve your space. You got to reserve your space before Wednesday at noon. And that is, you go to WILKNewsRadio.com, where sometimes you can press watch and see my smiling moon face. But the other thing, you go to events, and you scroll down, you'll see where maybe the second or third event, and you'll see the book signing. You give them your email, and you're good. We'll already have your name, but you give them your email. And the same thing, by the way, if it's easier for you, while I'm on the air today and tomorrow, you could call the Bulldog, who will also be there with us, because we told him there'll be refreshments, so now he's going to be there. But the Bulldog will be there, but you call the Bulldog at 883-0098. Say, I want in on Thursday to meet the authors and be part of that discussion. And then he'll get the information we require. And then you just come in here Thursday. But you call us, we could do it that way. Kim says some people would like to attend but are working. Understood. See if you can take your lunch. Say, look, we want to take a lunch. Somebody said, Bob, thanks. I love Big John, LTS. LTS back at you. So this lunatic, and I normally use it for policies that people believe in, but this person is personally a lunatic. Jasmine Crockett. She's running for United States Senate. Now, you thought that having John Fetterman was embarrassing, wearing his hoodie and shorts. This is off the charts. I said about Kamala Harris, she's more shallow than the puddle in front of my house when I walk outside. This woman is infinitely worse. I've never seen anything like her. Unbelievable. But that's what happens, all right? That's what happens. You encourage these fools, and people like her and AOC and Ilhan Omar. It's unbelievable. It's Rashida Tlaib. It's unbelievable. We've never I'm telling you, we've never had this level of fools on display. Tim Waltz never had this level of fools on display in the history of the country. It's scary. It is scary. It's how you lose a democracy when voting for incompetent, insane people becomes normalized. Yeah. It's it's stunning. But anyway, I hope we see some of you Thursday and get to talk to you and meet you and all that kind of thing. But hey, so much to do before then. President Trump coming in today. I don't know that I'm going. I love him. I think he's funny. But it's a been there, done that thing. It's not anything against Trump. It's been there, done that. And now security is so tight. Now I understand you have to get there at 2 o'clock for the 6 o'clock appearance. And that would be worth it because there'd be a lot of great people up there to mingle with. But it's odd. I got to think about the dog. How do I deal with the dog? Somebody texts in, oh no, Fred Duckman texts in. It's not somebody. Hey, Bob, I always hear Big John on your show. Ask Murph to check into when Jimmy Dean's song PT 109 about JFK's service in World War II came out and play when it's appropriate. I'll stay warm too. Thank you, Fred. Yeah, well, that one gets me. I mean, I would like to hear I think we played the PT 109, Fred, at your request at one time. I think we did. Well, Jasmine Crockett, enough said. It's so frightening. I don't even know how to react to it. All right. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. Let's hear from our great sponsors. Let's find out what's going on in the markets on Bloomberg. And then we'll be back on the eponymous show. The Kinks. Murph says this date, 1964, they released their hit All Day and All of the Night. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. Somebody just sent me, because Jimmy Kimmel came up. I'm going to say beyond disturbing. Do you know that little Snuggles or whatever the hell they call them it's a little white bear, and he does this commercial for some fabric softener or something. Well, Jimmy Kimmel did a skit, and it's a video, so I can't really do it justice, where a stuffed animal like that was talking about killing babies. And there's actually people like laughing at this. And I'm telling you, I am disturbed. This is a sick bastard that shouldn't be on the air. Wow, this takes it beyond. Like, number one, they had to think this was airworthy. And number two, they had to think it was funny, because they actually are showing a live baby in a crib with this stuffed animal over him with about a 6-inch knife. Wow. We're dealing with people who are not normal. Just don't give them credit for normalcy. The people that lead this whole Hollywood, Washington, D.C. cabal. I don't even know how you explain this little video I just got sent. Holy cow. Hey, to get to a normal subject, we'll go to Joe from Berwick. Hey, Joe, we got a minute or so. Fire away. Are you there?
Yes,
All
I'm
right.
here. Two things, Bob. Number one, what people do not understand when they're talking about communism, their goal is, and they, whether they call it socialism, doesn't matter. It's all on the
It's
same
identical.
basis. It's identical. Its whole purpose is to make us all equal in our outcomes. That means whatever
Well,
you
actually,
do to accomplish
when you come down to it, what it's about is for them to have power over the rest of us. It has nothing to do. They don't care about equal outcomes.
Yeah, they have to have absolute power over our lives to make us all equal in our outcomes. So that means when you make good decisions and you make sacrifices and you get reward from that, they want to take that away from you and give it to somebody who didn't make those same decisions or sacrifices. That's what they need to understand. And also, since I heard you talking about Pearl Harbor, I couldn't call in yesterday, but I've always wanted to remind you, we talked about it before. In a little town called Junedale in the Carbon County is the Arthur Gardner Highway right outside of Hazleton, and the Arthur Gardner Playground. He was one of the original killed in action from that battle, and they honor him with that highway and that park in the little coal town of Junedale.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you remember that. I'd mentioned that to you before.
Yeah. No. I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, good. Hey,
so.
you're not out on the roof today, are you?
No, it's a little too cold. I'm doing inside work.
Good. I don't want to have to worry about you all morning. Thanks, my friend. Always a pleasure, Joe.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. The Bob Cordaro Show will return with Rick Bigelow and our coverage of the path to Pearl Harbor. We'll be back. great good morning, everyone. My Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:09 a.m. here in the great Northeast. This beautiful Tuesday, December 9, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our friend John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care, the gold standard of senior care in Northeast Pennsylvania, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but salute thanks to John, like Bob Kopp, 40 Fort, Albert Vrabel, Newtown section of Hanover Township, William Dembski, Mountaintop, Leonard Rick, McAdoo, John Demko, Hazelton, and Olin Necht, Orangeville, North Center Township. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that we'll provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you. In a world where the leadership, the entire leadership of a political party, save John Fetterman, has gone insane. And our commitment to common sense will get it done for you, providing that sanctuary. So bathe in it, luxuriate in it, enjoy it, however you choose to use it. We'll make it for you. Just a quick side note. Last night, my friend Paul Lockett tells me, Giles Stanton, he was a South Abington Township supervisor and one of the really, truly good ones. He had his last township supervisor meeting. He was there like 37 years and presided over, along with Paul's dad, Al Lockett. They took over South Abington Township. They got rid of the stupid politics, and South Abington Township just exploded and was incredibly well run and managed. And, the voters of South Abington Township decided to move on, but man, they had a good one in Giles Stanton, and I just wanted to mention that today because what a good guy. And I mean, the kind of guy you really want to be in public service. And for him, that's what it was. He wasn't looking to be anybody. He was looking to help people, and he did over an incredible run. Giles Stanton. Hey, Mother Teresa for December 9. She says, I am Albanian by birth. Now I am a citizen of India. I am also a Catholic nun. In my work, I belong to the whole world. But in my heart, I belong to Jesus. The incomparable Saint Teresa. Thank you, Mary Regina. Pleasure. Well, December 7th. It's a date that will live in infamy. The Empire of Japan, attacked us at Pearl Harbor. Remembering over 100 people from Northeast Pennsylvania were there. Isn't that remarkable? They were there for that Pearl Harbor attack. One of the first people, and I wish I had Charlie Spano to tell me, one of the first people, they named a street after him in Scranton, a court. One of the first people to fire in defense of this country against the Japanese was from Scranton. So northeastern Pennsylvania is everywhere. We are everywhere we need to be. It's not a surprise. It's not a, why are they going in? Why is Trump's first economic speech here in Northeast Pennsylvania? I say this, and I don't say it out of braggadocio. I say it out of truthfulness. This is the center of the universe, right here in Northeast Pennsylvania. You're here. We do that patent open first thing every day. And he says, the right place, the right time. This is it. This is where they've got to come to make their case. And we've been everywhere, people from Northeast PA, defending this country and making it great. So let's go back. And Rick Bigelow's with us, our patent attorney extraordinaire, but he's our historian. We love him. And I tell him anytime you've got something, a lesson you want to give us, we're in. Rick Bigelow, welcome back to the Bob Cordaro Show.
Glad to be with you, Bob.
All right, so there was a long path. We'll try to summarize it, but a long path to this fatal attack on the United States territory of Hawaii and Pearl Harbor. Start us
Right. So let's start with a little bit of background on Japan. Japan has a 4,000-year history, and basically it had never lost a war. It beat back several Mongol Chinese invasions in the middle 1200s and 1300s, turned back by the divine winds, which became the inspiration for the kamikazes. So until about 1850 or so, it was pretty much a feudal society. And then ships from the west started to arrive into Japan with, steamships and modern weapons and technology and everything. And Emperor Meiji decided that Japan needed to become more westernized and more progressive, or else they were just going to get swallowed up by the European powers, much as China had been. So Commodore Perry shows up with the black ships in 1854, and that opens Japan up to the west. So prior to Emperor Meiji, Japan had been dominated by shoguns and warlords. Meiji started a period of rapid industrialization and militarization. He modeled his navy after the British and modeled his army after the French and the Germans. So by 1895, there's a war with China.
Let me mention something. This modernization and industrialization and militarization, they're all words. They basically killed a lot of the shoguns and warlords who would not relent.
That's right.
It was bloody.
That's right. They wanted to hold on to the traditions of the past, and then the emperor said, "No, we're going to move forward and become more like the Europeans." And it was mainly because they were concerned about the Europeans dominating Japan, much as they had dominated China.
Mm-hmm.
So the first Sino-Japanese War, Japan wins. It takes Taiwan, changes the name to Formosa, and some surrounding islands. So this is important to note that from 1895 until 1945, Taiwan was part of Japan, and it was only briefly part of China after the end of World War II. So this war also recognized Korea as independent. 1905, and this is what stunned the Western world, Japan wins the Russo-Japanese War, and it's important to note that they started the war by a sneak attack at night on Port Arthur, which was in Manchuria, destroying much of the Russian fleet. So they destroyed the rest of the Russian fleet, Battle of Tsushima Straits, consolidated their hold in China, and became preeminent Asian power. They took half of Sakhalin Island, which is just north of Japan, and much of the Kuril Islands from Russia. So Japan, in 1910, Japan annexed Korea, industrialized the north, and began a period of servitude for most Koreans. 1914, Japan declares war on Germany, takes German islands in the Pacific. So Japan had a mutual defense treaty with the British, and they invoked this treaty at the start of World War I to take Germany's Central Pacific Islands, which included Caroline Islands, Truk, the Northern Marianas, Saipan and Tinian, and the Marshall Islands, which was Kwajalein and Uitok. So by the start of World War II, they were well established in these Central Pacific Islands. So the Treaty of Versailles in 1918 gave Japan control of these islands, but they said Japan was not to militarize the islands, but they militarized them. So in 1922, Washington Naval Treaty, they signed a treaty that
restricted the amount of tonnage that the UK, US, Japan, France, and Italy could have. Japan was only allowed 60% of the tonnage of the UK and US were allowed, so Japan was humiliated by this. There was no limit on aircraft carriers as far as number, but they could only be 27,000 tons and have limited guns. 1924, there was a U.S. Immigration Act that barred Asian and especially Japanese immigration to the U.S., and of course, Japan took offense at that. 1926, Hirohito becomes the 124th emperor of Japan. 1931, Japan moves into Manchuria in northeastern China, renames it Manchukuo, and installs a puppet emperor, Puyi, but for all intents and purposes, Japan controlled Manchuria. 1933, Japan withdrew from the League of Nations and ignores the Washington Naval Treaty and starts building their super battleships. 1935, 36, 37, we passed neutrality acts in the U.S. that clamped an embargo on arms sales to belligerents, especially Japan, forbade American ships from entering war zones and prohibited them from being armed and prohibited Americans from traveling on belligerent, i.e. Japanese ships. 37, the second Sino-Japanese War begins. Japan captures Shanghai, Beijing, and Nanking. The brutal occupation of China ensued, including the rape of Nanking, where some 200,000 Chinese were murdered. Also, at the same time, there were frequent border clashes with Soviet troops because Manchuria borders with the Soviet Union. At this point in time, we had decoded the Japanese diplomatic code. This was unknown to the Japanese throughout the war. We were also working on breaking their naval codes, but we weren't quite there yet. So also in 1937, the Japanese forces sank an American gunboat, the USS Panay, that was in the rivers near Nanking, China, killing 3 Americans. So Congress got involved in 1939 with pro-China factions, demanding that FDR do something about Japanese incursion and atrocities in Japan. And I think it's important to note, in 1939, we only had about 350,000 troops, sailors, Marines in the U.S. military, and we were ranked 19th in the world, just behind Portugal. So we were not very strong, and we didn't have very many people. And of course, FDR had cut back the military dramatically in his first term. He kind of reversed that later on and starts building up the military. So 1940, we stopped scrap metal shipments to Japan, closed the Panama Canal to Japan. FDR was under pressure from Republicans to do more about the Japanese invasion, so he moved the Pacific Fleet from California to Pearl Harbor, and this was over the protest of Navy admirals. At the time, Admiral James Richardson was head of the U.S. Pacific Fleet. He was a vocal opponent of moving the fleet to Hawaii, and he let everybody know about it. FDR did it anyway, and then he fired Richardson in early 1941, replacing him with Admiral Husband Kimmel. Kimmel came from a primarily East Coast of the U.S. Navy, so he didn't really know that much about the Pacific or Asia. So at the same time, we increased military aid to nationalist Chinese, Chiang Kai-shek, and also in 1940, Japan signed the tripartite pact with Germany and Italy, and they became the Axis powers.
Rick, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break here.
Okay.
We're going to hear from our great sponsors. We have Rick Bigelow. We're talking about the path to Pearl Harbor, and we're in 1940 because a number of other things happen in that year as the United States prepares for war and Japan prepares to attack. We'll take a break. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Charlie Brown Christmas first aired on CBS TV, Murph tells us. This date, 1965, the Christmas theme song. Let's take a quick break here and come back with our Veterans Tribute and then Rick Bigelow, The Path to Pearl Harbor. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by John Basiliga. Featuring today one of his great companies, Serenity Care, a personal care community with 4 locations, Mid-Valley, Old Forge, Wyoming, Kingston. Dementia care units in Mid-Valley and Kingston locations. All 4 have been completely renovated inside and out, and I mean to perfection. And they're accepting new residents. John has a passion for providing the highest quality senior care in Northeast Pennsylvania. They are beautiful, outstanding. Leonard Rick. He was 88 when we lost him November 21st. He was from McAdoo. Born in McAdoo, a proud U.S. Navy veteran. He was also a member of the McAdoo Fire Company. Prior to retiring, he was employed at Mack Truck of Allentown and Macungie for over 30 years. He loved the outdoors. He loved animals. He enjoyed hunting, fishing. Member of the Caleres Rod and Gun Club. Surviving, his wife of 42 years, the former Jean France. Sons, 8 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren, as well as a sister and other family members. Leonard Rick. William Dembski. He was from Mountaintop, and we lost him November 22nd this year. Born in Wilkes-Barre Township, Bill, as he preferred to be called, resided in Mountaintop for the past 62 years and was the owner of Dembski Business Equipment until retirement. He was previously employed for 20 years for SCM Corporation, Wilkes-Barre. He was a 1951 graduate of Wilkes-Barre Township High. He was a Korean War veteran with the U.S. Navy, hunter, fisherman, Lions Club Fishing Derby, PA Hunter Safety Training, PA Forest Fire Warden for 35 years. He was an accomplished taxidermist, member of St. Jude's Church, Mountaintop, the Knights of Columbus there, and a 4th-degree member of the Bishop William Hafey Assembly. Member of the Georgetown Conservation Club, and he always looked forward to those Labor Day outing and venison dinners. Surviving, his wife, the former Joan Yankowski, daughter, a son, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and many other family members. William Dembski. Our great veterans this hour brought to you by John Basiliga and his Serenity Care. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, morning sun, then increasing clouds, 28 degrees. It's only 17 as I speak. Tonight, partly cloudy, low temperature steadier, slowly rising. Wednesday, cloudy with on and off snow showers, accumulations ranging from a trace to 3 inches in spots. High 37. Thursday, windy and colder with snow flurries, 30 degrees. So Donald Trump coming today, and just a warning, I don't know and they may not disclose this, but I don't know when he's landing. But he's scheduled to speak at Mount Airy at about 6, which means he's got to land, 4:35, and then they're going to drive all the way up there. I was surprised how long the caravan's going to be, because it is about from the airport to Mount Airy, it's got to be 30 minutes, even without traffic, which there won't be any. But just be aware of that late afternoon today to avoid any headaches. All right, Rick Bigelow is with us. And this patent attorney extraordinaire and historian to this program is talking about the path to Pearl Harbor. And 1940 is the year the United States stops scrap metal shipments to Japan, closes the Panama Canal, as Rick said, and we're turning the pressure up, even though we're declared neutral, Rick Bigelow.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. And in 1940, FDR is running for an unprecedented 3rd term, promising to keep the U.S. out of the European war. And at the time, the country's mood was isolationist and to stay out of the European war. That isolationist stance started to go down a little bit when Hitler invaded Poland and the Low Countries. And also in 1940, Germany attacked France, and following French capitulation, Japan moved into French Indochina, Vietnam, with the approval of Vichy France. And Japan was going to use Indochina as a base for attacks in Malaya and the Dutch East Indies, and also they took the rich food production areas of Vietnam. And it's interesting to note that one of the anti-Japanese zealots who were fighting against the Japanese was a guy named Ho Chi Minh, who we were supporting through the OSS in Vietnam at the time. Uh,
That's amazing. And speaking of, it's fascinating you bring that up, but on a separate note, I look at the rise of Imperial Japan. I cannot help but think about Red China.
I agree, Bob. There are lessons for us in what Japan did in the context of what the Chinese are doing now. I don't know that they're going to attack us anytime soon, but they certainly are moving to increase their influence throughout all of Asia, just like the Japanese planned on the greater East Asian co-prosperity sphere.
And just as at that time, the British and the United States were in the way. Now the United States and its allies in the Pacific are in the way.
Right, and back then the Dutch and to some extent the French were over in Asia and the Central Pacific too. So now it's primarily us, and what we see is a lot of the countries that wanted nothing to do with us 20 years ago, like the Philippines and parts of Indonesia, now are looking to us to bolster the defenses in the region. So there are lessons.
And I may be jumping the gun slightly, but one of our great listeners, my friend Booker, texted in to me, and he said that it appears, and I don't know, I'd like your comments and thoughts on this. It appears that move of our Pacific Fleet from California to Pearl Harbor was a mistake.
Well, that certainly turned up the gain in Tokyo when we did that.
Yeah.
And I think they had always figured that they were going to fight the United States, but the United States fleet would sortie from California and we'd meet somewhere in the Central Pacific. Well, when the fleet was in Hawaii, we were already in the Central Pacific.
Yeah.
So that meant that the decisive naval battle was going to occur probably somewhere around the Philippines, something like that.
And it also gave them the reach to get at us.
Yeah,
they would
that's
not have.
Right.
They would not have otherwise had. Interesting.
Yep. So let's go back to 1940. At this point in time, FDR really thinks we're going to eventually go to war with Japan, and he gets Congress to pass the Two-Ocean Navy Act, which funds 18 carriers, 7 battleships, 33 cruisers, et cetera, and also passes a bill to give billions of dollars to the Army and the Army Air Corps. So here's some interesting FDR politics. In 1940, FDR picked Frank Knox, who was a Republican and who was the Republican VP nominee in 1936, to be the Secretary of the Navy, and Henry Stimson, another Republican who had been Secretary of State in the Hoover administration, to be Secretary of the Army. So, I mean, this is classic FDR politics, because he knows that he won't be as vehemently opposed by Republicans in the House and Senate if he picks a Republican for Secretary of the Navy and Secretary of the Army. Also in 1940, the Selective Service Act passes, drafted men for 9 months of service. 1940, Nazis invade Norway and Denmark. All U.S. services begin calling up their reserves. 1940, in November, British Naval Air cripples the Italian naval fleet at Taranto, Italy, with carrier-based biplane torpedo bombers. The Japanese take note of this. 1941, Yamamoto starts planning for the attack on Pearl Harbor in January. At the same time, U.S. Ambassador Joseph Grew, who had been ambassador in Japan for 10 years and really understood the landscape in Japan, he must have had really good intelligence, because he informed Washington that Japan planned to attack Pearl Harbor. He didn't know when, he didn't know exactly how they were going to attack, but that warning is pretty much disregarded in Washington, D.C. February, Admiral Kimmel takes over as CINCPAC, Commander-in-Chief Pacific. and Lieutenant General Walter Short takes over command of all Army forces in Hawaii, including the Army Air Force. In April, Japan signs 5-year neutrality pact with the Soviets, so that means that the Japanese were not going to have to worry about the Soviets attacking them if they, in fact, attack the Americans. In June, Germany attacked the Soviet Union, so that took any possibility of the Soviets attacking Japan off the table. So in July of 1941, we imposed a full embargo on all products to Japan, including oil, and we froze all Japanese assets in the U.S. At the time, we supplied 80% of Japan's oil needs. And of course, they needed oil for industry and they needed oil for their navy. Japan tried to buy oil from the Dutch East Indies, but was only able to secure about 40% of its needs. So at this point in time, they were kind of boxed in. And of course, what we were saying to them was, you got to get out of China, and then we'll start supplying you oil and scrap metal and things like that again. But they wouldn't do it. In August, the Selective Service Extension Act passed by one vote in the House, and that extended service to 30 months. August also, FDR and Churchill met in Argentia, Newfoundland, and developed the Atlantic Charter, which basically said we would cooperate with the British, and they came up with plans for what the post-World War world would look like.
Was this a secret meeting, or was this out on the table?
This was pretty much a secret meeting, and they had it in a very remote little bay in Newfoundland. And of course, we went by ship, and so did the British, and nobody knew it was happening until afterwards. So in October through December, Japanese diplomats were in Washington trying to negotiate a solution to what everybody saw was a crisis. They were negotiating with Secretary of State Hull. November 16th, Japanese submarines depart Japan for the Central Pacific. On November 26th, the main body of Japanese Navy ships, known as the Kito Butai, which was the Japanese mobile air fleet with 6 carriers, departed Japan's Kuril Islands. And they were the little islands that were north of the Japanese main islands. And so there weren't any foreign correspondents or very few foreign spies around at that point in time. They took a northerly route to avoid the main shipping lanes and headed towards Hawaii and advanced just behind a storm front that minimized chances of detection. And you can see in the one map I have that they left from the Kuril Islands where, basically very few people knew they were there. And within a few days of them leaving, American intelligence said, we don't know where the Kito Butai is.
And
at the same time,
these maps are available if you go to WILKnewsradio.com. Not only can you sign up for the authors event on Thursday, but you can see the maps to give you a better picture of what Rick's talking about. Go ahead.
So they were on their way. On November 29th, Halsey's Enterprise Carrier Battle Group left Pearl with aircraft for Wake Island. They were supposed to be back in Pearl by December 6th, but were delayed by the same storm front that Nagumo was following behind. So he arrived back in Pearl on the evening of December 7th after the attack happened.
Serendipity.
So here's one of the key things. On December 3rd, British intelligence told the U.S. that they intercepted communications from the Japanese Foreign Office telling all Japanese embassies and consulates to destroy all codes and code machines throughout the world. And that included in places like Singapore, in London and Washington, and so on. On December 5th, Rear Admiral Newton's Lexington Carrier Battle Group left Pearl, taking Marine dive bombers to Midway. When the news of the attack on Pearl reached them, they turned around and went back to look for the Japanese carriers that had carried out the attack, but they couldn't find them. the mission to Midway was canceled, and the Lexington eventually came back to Pearl in mid-December. So those were the two carriers that, but for the fortunes of war, may have been in Pearl Harbor when the Japanese attacked. So on December 6th, Washington sent war warnings to U.S. forces throughout the Pacific. The target was unknown. A lot of people thought it was going to be the Philippines. MacArthur thought it was going to be the Philippines. In fact, when he was awakened on December 7th, probably December 8th in the Far East, he said there must be a mistake that Pearl Harbor was attacked, because he was sure the attack was going to come to the Philippines.
And part of that was
on December,
he figured no way would they attack anywhere other than where I am.
That's right, because you're absolutely right about that. And he also said they're not going to attack until the spring. And so, he wasn't on full alert. He wasn't on anywhere close to full alert in the Philippines at the point in time. So December 7th, we decode the final diplomatic message, which sets 1 p.m. deadline for negotiations to end. The target was still unknown. And of course, 8 o'clock Hawaii time, Japanese attacked with 353 planes from the 6 carriers in 2 waves, damaged 8 battleships, sunk 4, destroyed 180 aircraft. Several other ships were sunk or damaged. 2,403 Americans were killed, including 68 civilians. A third wave was planned to go after the oil storage and the shipyards, but Admiral Nagumo canceled the third wave because he didn't know where the aircraft carriers were. So the Japanese fleet retired to Japan. At this point in time, Yamamoto was furious because he knew the third wave had to occur, or else the U.S. would be able to continue to prosecute the war and get our shipyards back into functioning and recover our ships. But Nagumo was a hero, and so he couldn't fire him. So then we talk a little bit about what else happened on the same day. The same day, Japan attacked Hong Kong, the Philippines, Guam, Wake, Malaya, and Singapore. The American public was not told how serious the damage to the Pacific Fleet was at Pearl Harbor until a month after the actual invasion or attack. On December 8th, FDR addressed the joint session of Congress. Congress passed a resolution declaring war on Japan, and FDR signed it the same day. This was unexpected. Germany and Italy declared war on the U.S. on December 11th, so the Congress passed the resolution, and FDR signed the resolution. So we were in the war, and we were in both in Europe and in the Pacific.
And so, Rick, one of the things that I don't think anybody can appreciate now, and it could happen, particularly vis-a-vis China, this had an existential feel for the United States and for the world, which I don't think we've ever really had, short of the Cold War and the threat, the existential threat of atomic and nuclear attack. We had to be saying, because they attacked all over Asia. It was multi-pronged. They dominated Asia after this date, and we were devastated in the Pacific.
That's right. And I think it was true that, Hitler had conquered pretty much all of Europe.
Yeah.
And was well on his way to getting a big piece of the Soviet Union until, basically the Russian winter stopped him. And Japan was dominant in Asia. And shortly after the attack on Pearl Harbor, Japan moved into the Indian Ocean and basically took out the British Navy in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
So that's when Australia really became our friend, and we started, setting up huge logistics bases in Australia for eventual moving into New Guinea and into the Philippines. So if we got some time, I'd like to talk about these commissions that were set up to.
We don't have enough time to give them enough to give them what they deserve. But
Okay.
if you could summarize quickly.
Well, they set up a whole bunch of commissions to look at who was at fault at Pearl Harbor, and of course there was a lot of politics involved with it. There are 8 different commissions, and I think all the commissions came to the conclusion that Admiral Kimmel and General Short were asleep at the switch when it came to Pearl Harbor, so they were properly relieved of command, and others were put in their place. A lot of people tried to blame FDR and blame Marshall and blame the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Stark, but they pretty much were able to withstand the pressure to have them removed from command too. So that's how we got there to Pearl Harbor.
And the devastation was real. It was substantial, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse but for the storm that delayed our carriers from getting back to Pearl Harbor, and but for the decision not to do a third wave. Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Rick
That's
Bigelow,
correct.
thank you so much. We appreciate it very much. Hope to talk to you before the end of the month.
Will do, Bob.
All right, my man. We'll be back after Bloomberg. Damn right it goes on. Great good morning, everyone. My Ricardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:09 and change here in the great Northeast. This beautiful but frigid Tuesday, December 9, 2025, the year or the day of the Trump visitation. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our friend John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care Senior Care community, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we've lost this year, but salute today, thanks to John, like William Dembski, Mountaintop, Leonard Rick, McAdoo, Robert Bob Kopp, 40 Fort, Albert Vrabel, Newtown, section of Hanover, John Demko, Hazleton, and Olin Necht, North Center Township, Orangeville. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you in a world where, well, the entire leadership of the Democrat Party and the entire establishment globally and here in this country have gone insane. You need it. You need it. So Trump will be arriving in about 7 hours, and we're looking forward to that. I'm telling you, if you go, it's going to be fun. I have not spoken to one person that's gone to a Trump event and not just absolutely loved it. Tentatively, tomorrow, to talk and to follow up on Trump's message today, and I told you I haven't decided if I'm going or not, but I will be there in spirit regardless. Secretary Scott Bessent will be with us tomorrow, and Treasury Secretary. We've had him on before, and he's emerged as a true star of this administration. I love him. We've played his clips where he puts these biased. I don't know. Journalist is just the wrong word. Advocates. He's put these biased advocates to bed. He's put them to sleep. And so it'll be great to talk to him again. But right now, we have Jay Young. We've had him on before. Now, he is the founder and CEO of King Operating Corporation. And what they do is they look for and they extract oil and gas. His company's based in Dallas, but they do work all over the place. He's the author of The Upside of Oil and Gas Investing. We've had him on before. We love him. And he is back with us today. Jay Young, welcome back to the Bob Cordaro Show.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for having me on again. How you doing?
We have you on just for your accent. We love it.
Oh, man, that's awesome. And I'm standing up. I'm standing up like you said in the beginning. I'm standing up, and I'm thankful, man. I'm grateful and
Amen.
thankful, and, man, I'm excited to be here.
Now, you've looked at everything in the oil and energy space for next year. We've already seen some decline in gas prices, for example. You're projecting that there's going to be substantially more in 2026.
Yeah, for the first half, I believe we're going to see some good decline in prices because it's all political. I mean, they're talking about peak demand. They don't know when peak demand for oil is going to be, and there's a glut, OPEC, and I can see prices, stay right here or maybe decline a little bit more. But what's happening is a lot of the oil and gas companies, especially in the Permian Basin, which, there's a tremendous amount of oil being produced in the Permian or in Texas, we think that, that's pretty neat because of, we don't pay that much we don't pay any taxes, state taxes, all because we're producing 6 million barrels a day of oil, and we get 4.5% of that. But we're not producing as much, and we're not drilling as much. Drilling's going down, and people are looking to drill for natural gas instead of oil. And so what's going to happen is in the next 6 months, we're going to have a shortage of oil, and so that oil is going to go up. Gas prices will go up next year, but in the meantime, like I said, fill up your lawnmowers, fill up everything you got now with these cheaper prices, because it's not going to be here forever. And this is a great time to develop oil and gas assets and get long-term, vendors. I had a guy on my podcast yesterday that owns rigs, and I said, well, if I drill one well, he's going to charge me like $20,000 a day. But if I say, hey, well, I'll drill 10 next year, he goes, oh man, we'll go down substantially for that. So now's a good time to go to the vendors and say, hey, I got long term and I'm ready to go. Feel like that price are going to go up next year. Let's buy low, sell high type deal. Buy how it is. And drilling a well is no different than building a house. There's hundreds of vendors out there that they're in the oil and gas business, and they're all specialized in drilling rigs or pipe or concrete or supplies or fracks or paste on. There's just so many different vendors that you need, and they all need business, obviously. And if you're going by, the best time to go by when you're looking for a drilling rig is when there's 3 to 4 of them in the yard.
Do you think?
And there's 3 or 4 sitting there.
Jay Young, do you think that they're going to follow your advice and avoid that crunch mid next year?
No, I think it's all supply and demand.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's all supply and demand. We're not going to see as much oil on the markets come into next year. We may be below 13 million, maybe at 12 million or so next year. And when you go down, I mean, we need 20 million barrels a day in the United States. That's our appetite, or our addiction, as George Bush said once. We need 20 million barrels a day, and we're only producing 13. And so we need 7 brought in export. Well, that's okay. And we export oil because we can't refine it here, but we need a bunch of oil. And if the less that we have here in the United States, the more that we're at the beck and call or whatever you want to call it, of foreign countries, OPEC plus, and they just turn a switch and say, yeah, we're going to put an extra 1 million barrels on the market or 1 million barrels off the market to the United States. That really makes a huge difference in the prices.
Jay Young is our guest.
So right now
Jay Young is our guest, founder and CEO of King Operating Corporation. He's one of the guys we turn to talk about the energy industry. Jay, just almost a silly question. My 2 favorite shows, one is an oldie but a goodie, is Dallas.
Oh,
I'm just loving
man.
Love me my J.R. Ewing. And Landman. Landman I absolutely love. Have you seen Landman? Is it realistic? Does it get to some of the basics of your business?
It does. I mean, he did a really great job. Taylor Sheridan did a really great job in portraying what the oil and gas business is. Every time I see a show or a clip or something on social media, it just brings me back to my days when I grew up. That's how I grew up, was in the oil field. But there's a lot of drama, obviously, and they do take some things like a blowout or things of that nature, maybe to the next 2-3 levels for drama factors for Hollywood. But no, it's a great show, and there is a lot of great things that Billy Bob does that says that is extremely true. And I do it on social media. I'm doing true or false questions on there. So go to my social media, and Jay, I go by J.R. Young. That's my name. And so J.R. Young. So I love the show Dallas when it was playing as well.
And Jay as in J-A-Y-R Young. Yeah.
Right. Jay, right. And but we have a lot of guys. Matter of fact, the show Dallas was after a guy named H.L. Hunt, which they're Kansas City Chiefs and the oil fields in East Texas and all that. Yeah, but that's who it's portrayed off of is H.L. Hunt, and we have several of his people that work for our company at King Operating. And they found a lot of big oil and gas fields, and they're brilliant people. And the Hunts, they're royalty here in Texas, not only for the Kansas City Chiefs or soccer or anything else, but just for oil and gas, because H.L. Hunt was, a risk taker, but he drilled some incredible wells, and some of them are still producing after 100 years out here. So we're excited about that. But yeah, I love the show, and people ask me all the time questions, and you can ask me questions on social media or I don't mind. Even my wife, has been with me for 20 plus years. I mean, she said the other day, she go, okay, stop right here. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Or stop right here. What does that mean? And I'm like, hey, and I don't mind answering. And as a matter of fact, I can't answer all of them because he goes in depth on some of them that I got to call one of my land guys or engineers or geologists. And talking about, he comes home. This is kind of funny, Bob, but he comes home and Cooper does, Tommy's son. And he goes, oh yeah, well, we hit 6 for 6. And I was like, how'd that guy drill these wells that afternoon? He drilled all 6 wells this afternoon. And his girlfriend's pissed off at him because he didn't call for 3 hours. I mean, dude, it takes months to drill wells, and here this guy does it. I mean, that's BS.
Yeah.
I was going to say the actual word, but that's BS. But most of it is, and two, you don't just drill deeper because it is shallower zones that are productive. So you just go, oh, well, that's what Cooper said. Well, I just thought that it's oil was shallow, so if we just drilled deeper, we'd hit. I mean, man, my geologist, who's 70-something years old, he said, if that's true, I wouldn't have been a geologist for 50 years.
Jay,
easy.
Does Landman capture the culture of the Permian Basin?
Oh,
the region? Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, those bars when you go in, I mean, I love it. I'm just sitting here in a suit and tie most of the time in Dallas, and I'm the kind of the John Hamm, I guess, of the show, if you were thinking about that. And then every once in a while I'll say, okay, let's go to the field. So we'll go to Midland, put jeans and boots on and just go out there and, I wear a hat or cowboy hat or whatever. And that's my life. And that's how I grew up. And that's what I think a lot of Wall Street guys that run public companies, they miss more than anything, like the Pioneer Natural Resources or, Brian Sheffield or those kind of guys, is because Scott Sheffield was the CEO, because he grew up there. And when you run a public company, man, you're not out in the oil field. I mean, you're in the boardroom and you miss the oil field. And I definitely miss the oil field. And I have to make sure that I get up and at least once a month, we take a day or two trip, go to the oil field, see what's going on. But it's so exciting. Very, very exciting to sit on the back of a pickup truck when a pumping unit's, going. And that's how I grew up. I mean, that's kind of weird, but my grandfather, had me out in his pickup truck. And as soon as I was tall enough to drive, which I'm 6'3", but, when I was tall enough, when I was 12, 13 years old, he let me drive down the old top roads, and we'd go by a pumping unit, and he'd say, okay, hold on, Jay. And he'd listen to that pumping unit and see if there's anything wrong with it. And then, if there's a click or something that he didn't like, if the rod's downhole or if something mechanical on top of the pumping unit that's going up and down, going off or something, I mean, he'd stop and we'd look at it and see what was going on with it. But it's just great times. And like I said, when I do go out there now, we're still in the back of a pickup truck, and I used to chew tobacco or something. I don't do that anymore, but it'd probably make me really, really sick. But just think about it. Just think about it. That's how I grew up, and and it's great building up assets for our clients. And right now, this time of year, we're extremely important because it's tax write-off season, and people that invest before end of the year get a write-off, 80% write-off. So we're busy now with our fund that we're drilling, and we're drilling a lot of good wells, and it's exciting. It's an exciting business, and I'm very glad that I decided to go in this business, and it gives you the ups and downs, and it is just like just like Billy Bob and those guys. It's a great
Well,
business, but
Jay
there is a
Young,
lot to it. Now we don't have run into the mafia. We haven't run into the mafia yet, so I haven't been there, and I don't know if that's all BS.
well, Jay
Now
Young,
Cooper got his financing.
yes,
Cooper got his
from a drug
financing
lord.
from
Drug lord.
Garcia.
Yeah.
Oh, and I tell you what, I haven't been with a drug lord, but I have been with people that are like, the shops that don't loan you money, but they want to loan you money, and then they want you to trip and fall so they can take it over.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going to happen to Cooper. I don't know, but I'm assuming, yeah. But that's a real deal.
Well, we've got to continue this discussion, but I'll tell you, Jay, please get people to invest. I don't want gas prices going up before the midterms.
There you go.
I don't want them going
Absolutely.
back up before the midterms. So keep people exploring, drilling, and pumping oil out of the ground. Okay.
Man, Bob, we'll do our best. And I think I sent you my book.
Yes, I love it.
I don't know if you've seen it or not, or if it got to you or not, but hopefully it did. And I'd love to hear your feedback on it. If I can do anything else, or call me back next week or the next week, and let's continue the conversation.
All right, my friend, we love it. Jay Young, CEO, founder of the King Operating Corporation, Oil, Gas. We'll be back after this. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our friend John Basiliga. Today we feature just one of his great companies, Serenity Care, a personal care community with 4 locations in Mid-Valley, Old Forge, Wyoming, and Kingston. Personal care services at all 4 of those facilities. Dementia care services at the Mid-Valley and Kingston locations. And all 4 have been completely renovated, inside and out, accepting new residents. John has a passion providing the highest quality senior care in Northeast Pennsylvania. And these beautiful personal care homes are the gold standard here. They truly are. John Demko. He was 95 when we lost him November 22nd. He was from Hazleton. Born in that city, a member of St. John's Byzantine Catholic Church. He was an Army veteran serving all of us during the Korean War. He worked as a foreman with the Hazel Township Road Maintenance Department. He was a lifetime member of the Hazleton Owls Rod and Gun Club, an avid hunter, fisherman, and gardener. Tragically, he was preceded in death by his beloved daughter, Melissa Molinaro. But surviving are his wife of 67 years, the former Nella Pauline. His daughters, his son-in-law of Melissa's husband, grandchildren, and a great-grandson, as well as sisters and several nieces and nephews. John Demko. Olin Knecht. He was 79. He passed away November 19th this year. He was a longtime auctioneer and Little League coach in rural Orangeville, North Center Township. Born in Mifflinville, he and his wife, Faye, celebrated their 57th wedding anniversary last June 29th. He graduated the National School of Meat Cutting, Toledo, Ohio. He then faithfully served us in the United States Marine Corps, 1965 to 1967, becoming a Lance Corporal. Well known for his honest and strong work ethic. He was employed by Hyde's Grade A Meat Market in Berwick, the Acme Markets in both Columbia and Montour counties, and the Columbia-Montour AVTS in Bloomsburg. He was also the owner-operator of Olin Knecht Auctions for nearly 50 years. Member of the Ebenezer United Methodist Church, the Oriental Lodge of F&AM Orangeville, and the Millville American Legion. Longtime member of the PA Auctioneers Association. He was the Auctioneer of the Year and was inducted in the Pennsylvania Auctioneers Hall of Fame. He loved children, and he coached his Little League baseball in Orangeville for many years, surviving, in addition to his wife, Faye, his 2 sons, a granddaughter, and tragically he lost a great-grandson, Hunter, back in 2001. Olin Knecht, our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Serenity Care. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, morning sun, then increasing clouds, 28 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, low temperatures steady or slowly rising. We hope so. Wednesday, cloudy with on and off snow showers. Accumulations ranging from a trace to 3 inches in spots, high 37. Thursday, windy and colder, snow flurries, high 30. Bob Cordaro back on the eponymous program. The Temptations. Murph tells us this date, 2002, they performed Silent Night on USA TV's Motown Christmas special. Murph and I are on the same page on this. We're going to add a Christmas song per day. And we're up to 2 now, and then we'll go to 3 tomorrow, and 4, and 5, and so forth. So we go to all Christmas music right before the holiday. And I know everybody's not Christian, Catholic, whatever, but they're still, the songs are timeless. They're amazing. They're important. So we celebrate the season. Yeah. Somebody said that didn't sound encouraging. Meaning the oil outlook from Jay Young. I mean, because he's in the front end of it, he knows what the back end's going to look like. He's saying, okay, if you start drilling now, you'll have oil, if again, the right spot, you'll have oil to distribute by summer, late summer next year. And if you don't, you won't. So he sees a potential crunch. We'll see. We will see. Hey, we've been having fun. And I told you, Cutie and I went to Bacardo's Saturday afternoon. And I got her Christmas present, which she insisted on wearing. It's so beautiful. She insisted on wearing. We got to do something with the sizing. But other than that, absolutely beautiful. And then bought some things for on behalf of others. So it was a great afternoon. And this Thursday, we'll be having the authors event. And right after that, I'm going to go to Bacardo's because they have their trunk sale. And with us is Alex Bacardo to talk about it. He's got his own theme song. We got to get you used to that, Alex. You got to let it play for a second or two, man. Like, okay. we like to present you in the manner you are accustomed.
I love it.
Well, Alex, you guys have got to be scurrying because you've got the normal Christmas rush, and now you've got this massive trunk sale on Thursday.
Yeah, this is our big week coming up this Thursday, all day again. Refreshments and food. It's our big annual holiday trunk show. This is not normal. Like, everyone has sales during the year, but why it's bigger here, one, our vendors are here, but we have a lot of name brand and higher end items that are on sale, a legit sale. These things never go on sale, and we do it one night a year. We bring the representatives in from all these big companies, food, drinks. It's a lot of fun, and it's a real sale. We try to help you and your family out. We have something for everybody. So this Thursday, December 11th, all day long until we have to close.
Nice. I don't know how you do it 7 days a week at this point. It's really something. I'll tell you, the store, it's bright, it's beautiful. It's always happy in there. It really
always
is.
Happy.
I met a friend of yours that I had met before, a Secret Service agent who came all the way from Virginia to get something for his, was that for his wife or his fiance or?
It's a girlfriend right now, but okay. He came in that day. He went hunting in the morning, stops at my business every single year, and then drives back in the same day.
I just love it.
Talk about loyalty.
Yeah, honest to God. Well, I think anybody who, first time you buy from Bacardo's means there'll be a next time. It just does. That's
Absolutely.
My experience.
That's what we hope for. Like I said, even this year, if you guys can't make it down, you're busy. I understand. I work 7 days a week. I also need help. You can call in. I can take your order over the phone, and within a reasonable distance, I'll deliver it. It's something I've never done, or we've never done this before, but I understand fathers, mothers, everyone out there, that you work hard during the holidays, and if you need something, I'll help get it to you. No matter what I have to do, it's just an extra little push to help you come in and really see what we're about. So, guys, girls, you need something, call in. I don't care what the price is. I'll deliver it. There's no charge. Now, I'm not going to drive to New York, but within a reasonable distance, I'll take care of it. Now, whatever we can do at Bacardo Jewelers, we do it.
That's the thing that people don't realize. They see this amazing, classy store coming off the expressway, and corner of Jefferson and Spruce Street, and they say, "Oh, I can't afford that." Well, that's not the case, is it?
Not the case at all. I try to put that out there. I do carry high-end brands. I'm very proud of that. They're very hard to get and to keep. But I always make it that no matter what your budget is, $100, $90, I have something for everyone. Even down to 45 to 70, I have it, and it's quality. It's nice. It's not junk. It's something you can be proud of to pass out and to give as a gift. We really, yes, my store is beautiful, but that's something because I pride myself about that. My family prides themselves. And when you walk in, you should have that comfortable experience. Our money goes back into our business. We pride ourselves on that. We give it back to you guys for being loyal and our customers. And that's why I keep saying to people, stop in, just take a look, say hello, have a coffee, learn about us, come see our shop, and you won't feel like that anymore driving by. You'll be like, you know what? I could go in there, and I could get something very nice, wrapped, boxed up, and beautiful, and feel proud about it, and not break my bank or worry about it.
And
That's what I'm trying to do.
And I'm part of the family.
100%. Yeah. And as soon as you walk in, you'll see that. You're not going to get that weird feeling when you walk in somewhere and I shouldn't be. No, this is a family-oriented business. Even pets, we welcome. Anything you have, bring in. We don't care.
Well, Chauncey's already made a stop.
Yes, this is true. Yeah. Love the car show, yeah? That was excellent. Listen, we're so good. Santa shops here. I have a billboard on the highway now. Santa Claus himself shops right here.
As he should. Alex,
as he should.
Thank you very much. Trunk sale Thursday.
You're welcome.
If you got a chance to call in tomorrow about it, we'll in a different hour, we'll do it. All right?
I love it. Yeah. Listen, December 11th, this Thursday. Everyone stop in, please. See the store, have a drink, have something to eat on us, and enjoy Christmas. Thank you very much.
Amen. Alex Picardo, Picardo's Jewelers. We'll take a break and be back. You too, Murph says. This date, 2000, when Saturday Night Live was still Saturday Night Live, he performed Beautiful Day live on that program. Hey, we're going to finish up with Hallelujah is going to be a song we're going to play every day, and there's so many great versions, one of them being Elvis Presley. And we're going to do a live version from 1977 that Murph sent us, so to finish up the program. By the way, Tommy P, just for the people notice, it doesn't matter how cold it is. Tommy P is on patrol South Apple Street in Dunmore. So everything's safe and secure with Tommy P. He's on the game. By the way, Slick texts in. Slick, I fell asleep, but kept the game on in the bedroom. And I wake up, and they're up 16-13. And then they blow it in overtime, the Eagles. So Slick says, he gives me an LTS. He goes, "You calling the Pie Man today?" He's dead to me. I don't. They just play. It's not good. It's not good. Hey, Donald Trump in town tonight. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We're looking forward to that. Hopefully, we'll have Alex Picardo on to talk a little bit more about the trunk sale. Bull, are we having a little technical problem with the music here? Anyway, tomorrow we'll talk about the Trump visit and so much more to fill you in on. And we look forward to that. By the way, just a quick reminder, Wreaths Across America this Saturday, 12 o'clock, St. Stanislaus Cathedral Cemetery, Kane Street, Scranton. They'll be there for a beautiful ceremony. And Thursday, just another reminder, it is not only the trunk sale at Picardo's, but Matt Birkbeck is going to be here, the great author of The Quiet Dawn, The Life We Chose, The Wicked, new book coming out in January, The Bookie, and Chris Finazzo, Reflections of a Town Driver. So with Trump about to arrive, we've got Sue Henry next, Rob O'Donnell after that. God willing, I'll be with you tomorrow morning to talk about all of that. But let's finish with Elvis with Hallelujah. No better way to wrap things up here. Guys, have a great afternoon. For now, though, I've got to go. I got to gavel to a close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. Have a great afternoon.